Hey everyone, Suzi here, and today we play, or well, talk about Fateless and Godforge. Let's get into this bit of a reaction video. Alright, so in case you didn't know, I am the community manager for Fateless, and yeah, these kind of videos and these kind of discussions are kind of hard. They're intense. As someone who now, of course, works for the company, and someone who is a friend and fan, I guess, of Simon Hades, I'm very protective and defensive, especially of him. And now that I work with this company, for this company, whatever, we're a team, right? So it's our product. We're a team. That's the point. It's all about community, including in the workspace. And it does make me feel even more defensive and yeah, want to react when I see something negative. It's so hard for me not to immediately jump on it, and I'm trying really hard not to, really hard. But some of these hard questions, it's kind of hard not to have a defensive reaction to, am I right? So in this video, this is a long video. It's 27 minutes and 42 seconds long as the video itself. So buckle up. This is going to be a bit of a chill vibe, but also you can probably watch most of it via listen via podcast style. I'm not going to worry about how long this ends up being. This is just going to be me honestly reacting after Simon goes over every topic to my personal opinion on the topic. And I'm going to be raw and honest, but also keep in mind, like, I don't know. It's all about community at the end of the day, but the hard part is we are sharing a raw product as it's being developed. So of course it's not perfect. Of course there's a lot to be done. But the hard part is people are going to compare it to things that are done, that are perfect. So it's part of the risk we take by sharing everything with the community. So I just hope the community can try to keep that in mind and give us a little grace in the sense of understanding that we're showing you a pre-alpha product. We haven't even started our alpha, which will be more the internal closed phase of testing. We haven't even really started that yet. We've only prepped a couple demos. So there's a lot more to be adjusted before we even get to the public beta. So yeah, all right, let's buckle up. I'm going to play this out and then I will react individually at the end of each segment, I guess, when he transitions, or it seems like he transitioned. Or I don't know. Maybe I will, before he even responds, you know what? He's going to say the question or comment. If I can, I'll respond even before he says anything. Just then you guys can see if I think the same as he does. I don't know. But yeah, we'll do this however we can. It's just going to be a longer video because it's a long video that I'm talking about reacting to. And just in case this is your first time coming to my channel and you're wondering why do I look weird? This. I do have Bell's palsy still. So if my eye's extra winky, it's been kind of runny today. And yeah, my face is like partially not working. So I look a little derpy. So bear with me. All right, let's really get into it now. All right, so I'm going to play this at 1.25 times speed to just try to speed it up a tiny bit. But that's why if it sounds a tiny bit fast, that's why. Yeah, that's why.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. This is going to be another video about Godforge. Today we're actually going to do a deep dive in terms of the questions and general comments we see from the community. Almost like a kind of dev diaries type of deal where I try and answer some of the most requested kind of bits of information, which I'm allowed to answer. And I just give you guys a bit more of a feel for what's going on behind the scenes. Some of the different community feedback and how I feel about the community feedback and you know what we're doing in terms of addressing some of those things anyway, before we even saw some of that community feedback. I will say before I get into the questions, like just coming back to why did I start doing Godforge? You know, why was Fateless born? And really, we've come from a community of players who love hero collectors, they love turn-based RPGs, they love RPGs in general, or MMOs. I, in particular, just wanting to make a really fucking cool game. Like, and I'm still there. That's still my place. Whenever we're like making decisions as a team, it's like, hold on a minute. Does that feel like it would be cool in the game? Yes or no? That's basically it. And sometimes it's like, well, hold on a minute. That doesn't feel quite right for the lore of the character and stuff. I'm like, hold on. Does it look really fucking cool or not? And, you know, is that game feature going to be really cool and really well received? Yes or no? That's pretty much the kind of benchmark. And I'm still there. Right? That's exactly where we're at. And, you know, at this point, it's not me making a game. It is a much wider team. You know, designers, developers, artists. There's like tons of us now, all in that same sort of mindset and that same type of vision. So I guess rest assured, we do take feedback, you know, seriously, but also we have to make hard decisions because.
So like you said, I've already seen and had personal DMs of people complaining about some things not being perfect for the lore of the character. But at the end of the day, we're making a game. It's going to have the inspiration from all these characters, but we're not making a historical documentary. It's a game. So does King Arthur have a really ridiculous, exaggerated shield? Yes. Is Zeus's weapon exactly a lightning bolt? No. Does he have lightning-inspired effects? Yes. There's a couple other things that have popped up, but yeah, you get the point. These sort of things, just remember that we're not trying to make a perfectly as historically accurate for everything as possible type game. It's a game. And I think people have to remember that at the same day, while this is our inspiration, we're creating our own stories to go with them and our own characters based on our artists that are inspired by the materials we give them or that they find themselves. For example, the Brynhild character that looks so much like Velk, she was created by an artist from scratch that has never played Raid. We did not give her an inspiration picture that looked like Valkyrie from Raid. Yeah, that's just, these are all inspiration and art that is going to have some creative liberties at times, so try to remember that as well.
Often feedback can be pretty 50-50, and at that point you just got to make a call and go with it, right? So there's other things in play here rather than just, you know, just people kind of like saying I'd much rather this, because generally the people that are upset with something are much louder than the people that are just comfortable with the way something is. So let's get into it. So far, what have we shown you? We've shown you a demo of one level of campaign. Okay, that's all we've shown you so far, and I mean, amazing how much, you know, feedback we can get around that. Interestingly, the two things which we've shown you in the demo, which we would class as relatively niche for this genre. So things like destructible backgrounds and things like our Reliquary room, where you're able to basically find combinations of I guess, secret rooms. These two things are the only two things we've shown you so far which are remotely, I guess, different to the genre that we know and love. And these seem to have been really well received, which is cool. So as we kind of like put a bit of our secret sauce on the genre, it's good to see the stuff that we've kind of called out as like, these will be a real point of difference for us. That's kind of landed. So that's cool. So I'm just going to pull up random comments from, not random comments, I'm going to pull up comments which were quite frequent from the community and just kind of give the kind of dev diary answer to it really, and give you a sense of what's going on. So Brevin Prince here, I was hoping for a bit more distinction between your game and Raid. Seems like a Raid clone with a new theme. Combat looks like the same down to turn meter and stuff like that. Okay, similar level 60s ascension, that type of stuff. So we are making a turn-based hero RPG, a hero collector RPG. Obviously, most people from this community have come from Raid. And yeah, I mean, we're using some of the same mechanics that you see in Raid, but this is not a Raid clone, by the way. This is just a game from this genre. Okay, Summoner's War was, you know, what, 5-6 years before Raid.
Exactly.
Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes been out forever. You know, you've got the
Raid
anime group like the Epic
Summoner's
Sevens,
War.
and if you go back to Final Fantasy VII, like these games have been around for a long time. Okay, and a lot of what we see in terms of the things you call
World of Warcraft is level 60 max too, isn't it? It's not exactly original.
calling out as a clone, you know, level 60 max. Well, that's been around for a long time in a number of different games, even to the point where, you know, playing World of Warcraft, you know, hitting level 60, that was your max. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff which just feel comfortable to have in the genre. Now, almost every single thing that we're doing, we've had the conversation internally to say, is this where we innovate? Okay, is there much benefit to innovate to say, oh, hold on, we don't level to 60 in our game, we level to 100. And we've had this exact conversation. It's like, well, all you're doing is you're changing a number. So we want people to come into the game and understand that they're playing a game of this genre and feel comfortable with that. Because when they get into some of the areas where we're innovating, that's going to be where their brain needs to say, okay, I need to learn some new things. And if you're learning new things all over the game, almost trying to create your own genre, well, for a new studio, that's extremely risky. Okay, it's a very risky thing to do. So some things are very similar to what you've seen in other games. Some things we're bringing with our own flavor to it. And some things are just going to be new. Most of the stuff which is just new, nobody's seen outside of the development team because we're still a year from launch. And it would be very easy for any competitor in the genre to literally pick up the new thing and say, we can turn it on in 3 months and basically, Godforge, good luck. Yeah, because then it looks like we've just copied a whole bunch of stuff from other people. So rest assured, the whole kind of like, is there going to be more distinction between your game and Raid? A lot of the basic things around the type of game it is will feel similar, but not just Raid, to this genre. And there'll be plenty of stuff where you're like, damn, that feels really cool and very different. So I guess rest assured.
Exactly. Like, there has to be some sort of familiarity, right? Like, if you guys are going to play Godforge because you are a Raid player, a former Raid player, Summoner's War, Honkai Star Rail, because you like turn-based, Final Fantasy because you like turn-based, whatever, like, there needs to be some sort of familiarity. It's the best way to explain it. He did so well explaining that. I love his answer for that. Like, you can't really... Anytime someone comments with what makes your game different than Raid, oh, this is just another Raid copy, I'm going to link them to the timestamp of Simon explaining it. Because, to be fair, like I've said a million times myself, too, Raid is not the original. For, if anything, the closest to the original of this true gacha style, turn-based hero collector RPG, I think, is Summoner's War, which has been out a lot longer than Raid has. And Raid copied their stuff. They just literally did it in the form of darker fantasy characters, so it feels like Raid might be the first. Or if Raid was your first game to you, Raid is the first. Like it was for me. Raid was my first of this genre. So to me, everyone's copying Raid too, right? Wrong. It's just the reality of the genre. So I really love his explanation. I think he did a good job. There's a lot of things we don't want to show that make our game unique, because we don't want anyone to copy our ideas. Right? That's the plan. As a Fateless staff, that's me saying that. I mean, we don't want to have our best, most unique aspects of the game copied before we can launch our own game, when they are genuinely original ideas. So no one should judge too harshly off a 5-minute demo. They should wait until the game officially launches globally, hopefully less than a year from now, and then make your decisions. Okay, let's roll.
What we've got here, Viking never die. I was thinking, using the mythology as your base won't in the long run prevent you from adding new champs. Sooner or later, the divinities will run out, won't they, type of thing. So, I mean, literally, easily, we could go to 1,000 gods and not even scrape the surface. And that's if we were just using gods. We're using gods, myths, and legends. We've seen some really interesting stuff from the community around, you know, what does a legend actually mean? You know, is a kind of the Loch Ness Monster a legend, for example? Is a Yeti a legend? And so on and so on. Oh man, what's his name? Robin Hood. Is Robin Hood a legend? Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we could do. Jack the Ripper, is he a legend? Should he be in the game? So there's almost an infinite pool of opportunities in here. I don't think in any way will be restricted in terms of hero numbers and stuff like that.
One thing that has been talked about a lot is like Native American culture in the US. So from the Americas, from, you know, like North America through South America, there are a lot of, tribes, mythologies, lore, characters, whatever, stories that can be pulled from just within that half of the world itself, you know? So, and we have only scratched the surface. There has been some reveal of one of the one thing from the Americas that will be included in launch. There is something in the Americas that's already been shown, so I'm not really spoiling anything. If you pay attention, you know. If you don't, you'll know soon enough. And yeah, so there's like endless possibilities. of tying in lore. If you could do a whole game just on the United States part of North America and the lore in there. You could do an entire game just on the different native tribes and the characters that go with those. So yeah, we're not gonna run out of characters. He's right. I don't think we could run out of characters.
Looks great, honestly. Yeah, it needs a ton of polishing, but the base of the game looks amazing. Great UI work. Yeah, send love to my designers, whatever. One thing I must point out, you want to have double character animation speed, but not the whole game speed. Yeah. This is something we've already fed back internally. So when we're playing, you can see when I've got 2 times on at the moment, everything is at 2 times. Like the flags, the trees, the lot. Shouldn't do that. It should just be the characters' animations that speed up. So we have already picked up on that, and it's we are in pre-alpha, remember. So any stuff like that, firstly, we thank you for the feedback. But yeah, we are on it. We are on it. Any communication, we see this a lot about pay to win. How pay to win will the game be? So we haven't worked out pack prices. We haven't done all of that stuff yet. This game has cost millions of dollars to make, or will have cost millions of dollars to make when it goes live. It has to have payment methods in the game. So what I would say to you is, we want to make sure there's plenty of ways to earn cool rewards as a free-to-play player. We're going to have game modes which are specifically free-to-play centric. And by that, I mean normalized modes. You'll be making options where, irrelevant of your champion pool, you'll be playing on a level playing field with anyone who spent any money in some game modes. Okay, so but there will still be an element of, you can buy shard packs or crystal packs. You can you can buy more energy. Like, those things will happen because we do have to monetize in some way, and ultimately it's a free to play game. Okay, so will there be better rates in shard pools and stuff like that? Yeah, probably, but not by a lot. Otherwise, these games get incredibly boring really fast. Okay, I've played games where you get everything you want really quickly, and you're like, oh, that's got to be the best method. It's not. It's boring. It's really boring. So we still want players to have challenges in the game, and the only way you can have challenges in the game is if you don't just get everything given to you. You have to make strategic decisions based on what you have.
And also that you can't just instantly buy your way through the game. That's one problem, is like sometimes these companies make it too pay to win, in the sense someone can just spend $500, $1,000 and get like everything instantly. And then they're just like, and then they complain that they're bored because they have all the top heroes or all the dupes they need of heroes, or they have all the heroes literally because the game pool is the hero pool is so small. And yeah, then what? It's like you also have to make the rates and RNG be there on purpose, so that no matter how hard you try, you're just not going to pull some characters right away, at least. Or for a while, you're going to keep trying. You're going to keep wanting to try. Or else once there's nothing left to chase, then what? Then you're bored and you move on to the next game. Like, so there has to be a level of obviously encouraging some pay to win, because, I mean, it's a gacha at the end of the day. And that idea of chasing the hero collection is kind of a main point of that. But I hope that there's a balance between not making it too easy. Like, I'm playing in a game, God's Raid, right now. Spoiler alert for my next little mini series coming. And I feel like there's a reason there's nobody covering the game anymore. I feel like the community must not have liked it. But maybe not. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. But I feel like I could spend probably $1,000, maybe even only $500 in God's Raid, and Via be like, have the best account I could need. It feels too easy to spend and be done with the game. So there has to be a balance there. But yeah, I'm doing a little mini series to come where I play games for a short period of time, do an initial intro, do a first whatever of gameplay, do summons for the gacha system, show off, and then do like a first impressions. So stay tuned for that to come on this channel while we fill time waiting for Godforge to come out, right? We're still waiting. Okay, even me. Obviously, I'm waiting too. All right, I'm not sure if I continued at the right spot, but let's keep going.
Okay, I've played games where you get everything you want really quickly, and you're like, oh, that's got to be the best method. It's not. It's boring. It's really boring. So we still want players to have challenges in the game, and the only way you can have challenges in the game is if you don't just get everything given to you. You have to make strategic decisions based on what you have. So we're not going to be like egregiously pay to win, but there will be ways to spend in this game to speed up your progress, but never to the point where somebody who plays free to play for a long time couldn't catch up with the paid player. By the way, we're on basically all socials. If you want to get like screenshots of new heroes that come out and artwork of like background assets and stuff like that, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Reddit now. We're basically anywhere where there's a social. So feel free to join us on whatever makes most sense for you. So what's it saying here? Oh yeah, often asked, is this going to be mobile or PC? So the beta is going to be Android and PC. And then when we launch, it will be cross-platform. So Mac, PC, iOS, Android. And here, how do you sign up for the beta? You can just go to the Fateless website, which I'll pin down below, and you can just come on a very easy sign up form there and come and join us in the Discord once you've done that. The closed beta will be early next year. I like the cinematic view. Okay, we're going to get a lot of kind of mixed views on this visual of the game. I like the cinematic view. I see everyone else hating on it. I want to see the detail. It makes it look like a high quality game. Raid and especially Watcher of Realms look worse when you get into gameplay. This makes it feel like every character is special and they get their own thing while characters stand back. Okay, so there's also, I think I've got screenshots up here where people don't like the camera. Awesome demo. One point is that the camera might not work well with motion sickness. We've definitely taken that on board. Thank you for that. We've seen that a few times. And then DJ Beast here and a number of others. This game's looking good. If we could change the camera angle to see the battle from a different perspective, that would be a huge improvement. So yeah, this is one of those things, right? So going back to, we don't want a raid clone. And then actually what we did is we looked at the kind of point of view in the remake of Final Fantasy VII, and we kind of like this view. This feels way more interactive and cinematic as you're kind of like going through this character view. Slightly different to what we've tried to do because we won't be as dynamically moving our characters around. But anyway, we like this view. We also looked at the most successful game in the genre by quite some way right now, which is Honkai Star Rail. And again, similar type of thing, focused on the one character when it was doing their ability, and then kind of like slips back into the team when you need to. Now, these are a couple of the, I guess, inspirations for the game view that we've currently got. So if you look at our kind of like game view, but there's a few differences, right? So right now, let's just go to 1x speed. Right now, we don't have all of the kind of like animation slick. We don't have a jump back into position. We don't have it spinning around to show you when you want to buff your team properly. We don't have it spinning behind the team when the enemy are attacking. So there's a few things which we definitely were going to change anyway. And some of the timing's off on animations, basically because of where we are in terms of timing, like pre-alpha, all that type of stuff. That being said, we can change cameras as we choose to, and we're definitely taking that feedback seriously. What we actually really want to do is wait until we've got it slick so that it feels good and people are able to play that closed beta, and then we can make some decisions on whether or not we just want to change it up.
Yeah, because the reality is you might watch it and be like, oh, that feels too weird. I don't know. I want to see my whole team. But maybe when you play it, it feels more immersive. When the cell phone is in your hand and you're playing the game and you're doing it, it feels really good, honestly. Like I have the demo on my phone. I'm part of the QA team. And I was able to try these builds as we were starting out. And yeah, I don't know. I think you have to play it before you judge it. Like it might, again, from watching something, it might be like, this is terrible. Or the opposite. Think about Arena. How many people hate to play Arena or hate live Arena? But isn't it fun to watch other people play it and do it? And watch them fail and succeed. And same kind of goes for the feel of gameplay. Like, is it really the feel of gameplay if you're not actively engaged? It's not. So before we go crazy 100%, including other camera angles or not, we have to wait until players really play the game on a larger scale, at least alpha or maybe beta, to see how they really feel once they're actively playing the game, because that's what really matters at the end of the day. How do you feel when you're really playing the game versus just watching something and purposefully overly judging it? Because that's what we're doing, right? We're sitting here, we're sitting back, we're watching something be developed, and we're trying to nitpick it. Like, that's what we're doing, subconsciously, maybe, for most people. But you're not like, you might be like, oh, that's really pretty. Ooh, I like that graphic. Ooh, I don't like that graphic. Ooh, like, but you also are, because you know it's being developed and you think you want to help, you might be trying to find the criticism to where you feel like you can give constructive input to help the game, which obviously, like he said even before, the negative voices are usually louder because people are more likely to complain and be negative, verbally, text, whatever wise, than they are to be like, oh, I like this. Because you'll just sit there, oh, this is really cool, I like this. Oh, that was nice. Okay, close the video. Like you don't necessarily think, oh my god, I have to type up why this is nice. But usually if you really don't like something, you want to be like, oh my god, this is so weird. It's just like our natural instinct as humans to communicate when we're not happy, even more than when we are happy. And that's just not gaming, that's life. That's relationships. That's life. That's work. That's whatever. Like that's how I think we are as humans. So I think there's still a majority of people that like what they're seeing versus not liking what they're seeing. It just seems like it's the loudest because that's the ones that are more vocal.
But we've definitely taken the feedback on board. You know, that's the whole reason for having, you know, this type of channel and a community that's so close.
Yeah, we want feedback.
There's also, though, an element of people don't like change until they've experienced it for a while. So it's until we've got people actually playing the beta and, you know, get some proper live feedback, it's very difficult to know whether it's just like, oh, this feels different, so therefore I'm a bit scared of it, or whether it genuinely doesn't feel as good. After I've been playing it for a while, I actually love it. Like, I love it. I feel like it feels way better, and that's before we've cleaned up all the animation and stuff. So, you know, we've seen a lot of people in comments say, I really like it, and we've seen a lot of people in comments say, you need to fix it, which is a bit of a silly term, but you need to change it. Okay, so we're taking it on board, and it might be that we just introduce a second camera angle as a possibility when the game goes live. Obviously, that takes extra time, extra development work, all that type of stuff, but we will see after the beta if people still feel that kind of same way. But definitely taking that feedback on board. Here we go. So we've got Rayhawk here. What's he saying here? Oh, yeah, because there was sidekicks, pets.
Oh, yeah, Rayhawk is one of the people who have a website, too. If you guys are in our Discord, we have a community videos section where content creators are already sharing content they're making on the game. That's where I'm going to post this video as well. And there's a community resource channel as well at the top there in the Discord. And Rayhawk has the Raven Pyros website. So there's already a couple websites being developed from Ray, from Nicholas LP, Scrolls of Anubis, and my husband, who you guys probably know, Odd One Gaming. He's even in the process of working with a UI graphics guy, one who's actually been very active in our chat, and already working on his website where he's going to start off with just a little bit of raid stuff before Godforge comes out, but with the intention of, assuming he's going to like Godforge as much as we all hope we do, that Godforge will become his focus, and his website will be based around Godforge and try to grow that. So it's really cool to see the community already trying to get ahead and creating channels, creating websites, creating Reddits, Discords, whatever. It's just really cool to see. So, yeah. Anyway, shout out to Rayhawk.
That you could summon as well, and they give you stuff like blessings. Cool idea. This isn't like a repeated one. It's just, I love it when people come into the Discord and actually come with a cool idea. You know, so I'm not saying we're definitely going to implement this. I've actually done as well, and they give you stuff like blessings. Cool idea. Okay,
so let me just read the whole thing. The leaked photo with the wolf made me think of this. What if you added the ability for champions to equip pets as sidekicks? These pets could be summoned similar to how you summon champions, but with shards that they take a lot of work to get, perhaps akin to Raid's remnant shards or something. This could be a function somewhat similar to blessings in Raid, given the champion who equips them get extra benefits and capabilities, but it could be a much more extensive system where new pets are added to somewhat regularly, can have significant effects, almost like swapping out passives. I think this would fit well into the collection genre, as you could collect pets on top of collecting champions. Yeah, I love this. So actually, Bloodline Heroes of Lethos, I had done a sponsorship for them and played again to check it out. And they had added this whole pet system. And the pets were game-changing. Like, too much so. Honestly, OP broken wild territory. But if you got pets and then maxed out those pets, which was very expensive to do so, it was absolutely a game-changing mechanic. So I think it's a fun idea. You just have to be careful how you do it. Just like blessings, like, oh, polymorph, it just fucks with arena. Is that good or bad? I don't know. You have to be careful with those benefits. Also, I think my most recent example, I mean, Watcher doesn't have anything like a pet. God's Raid, the game I'm checking out, you summon heroes and then you summon gods, and the gods are like your pet. The gods attach to a hero and give them special bonuses based on a faction. If you're within the faction, there's usually an extra favor. And then also just an overall, like they may buff, they may heal, they may make the enchanted hero have more whatever, or they may go first and make you have an increased stat. They might have their own ability where they summon skeletons and go in and attack based on your stats. Like, there's such an endless possibility. I think that's a cool example of the way this could work, but I'm glad that we're not doing it exactly like that, although I thought it was pretty clever. But yeah, I think this is cool.
This isn't like a repeated one. It's just, I love it when people come into the Discord and actually come with a cool idea. You know, so I'm not saying we're definitely going to implement this. I had a very similar idea to this, but it went in a different direction. But we've got an area of the Discord here at Fateless where we've got an area for innovation and ideas. And we've got these kind of like game idea mega threads where people just come and give ideas. Now, some people come in and they literally just say like, make game good. And you're like, great feedback. What can I do with it? I literally can't do anything with it. Whereas if someone comes with an actual idea, you know what? I read every single one, and some stuff we're actually implementing on the back of cool ideas. What's interesting as well is, you know, people that say, you know, is this just a clone of Raid? If you've got cool ideas of how we could really be different, we are all ears. Like, we're literally wide open to taking those suggestions in. So feel free to bring them along. As I say, I read every single one. We've got here, a god. Have an in-game trade system where you can post the champion you want to trade to other people and be able to haggle with them. I really liked the idea of this. We've kind of gone back and forth on a marketplace in the game, on a trade system in the game, all of these things. Every single time we go down this road, it just comes back with, unfortunately, people cheat these systems. Bots come up, they farm shards, they farm the ability to summon, and eventually they'll get the champion you want. People trade with the bots, and eventually you get people who are just kind of these OP accounts because they're cheating the game. I've got this real thing that I hate people that cheat to win, and I don't want to put a system in the game where literally it helps people cheat to win. So it's unlikely we're going to do this just because of, you know, the fact that I just said there. Gecko Mayhem. I do not envy the mammoth task of game balancing. Just watch that demo. Made me think of all the different combinations of abilities, the strategic use of ultimate moves. Yeah, that's quite a cool thing it's quite a good thing to call out, actually. So our ultimates, there is an element of strategy to them. So you will be able to save your ultimate, which is charging up down here on the bottom left. You'll be able to sort of save up the use of an ultimate to the point where you think it's going to be the right time to use it. And there definitely will be strategy to that, because different heroes will gather their ultimate strength in different ways. And some of it is just by taking turns, but also there's going to be, you know, some people get their ultimate up through killing stuff, some people get their ultimate up through debuffing, and all sorts of different things. So at some point you can get to all of your team having their ultimate ready at the same time, and you could unleash like all of your ults back to back. So, but I think that's a cool element of strategy. So if I take it off auto for a second, whilst Anubis lays me down, yeah, I could be like, right, actually it's not Zeus's turn, but I can use Zeus's ult. And I could also use Hercules' ult, etc. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. Yeah, like you can buff before you use everybody's ults. Those ults really interesting, but it's right what Gecko says here. That means there's going to be an ultimate. There's going to be an element of balance that's needed, and that doesn't even like scratch the surface of it, because there's other things which we've not released yet in terms of to the wider public, in terms of tricky things to balance, but will add a lot of fun to the game. So I guess this is a watch this space, but you know, that's why Saf's in the team, the ultimate balancing king. He's going to be working hard to make sure that that's something that we do. So yeah, but yeah, cool out. Definitely something that's on our minds. Pippin here, love the Reliquary idea. Can see some really cool puzzles and community engagement. My concern is, there's always, whenever you add something like, there's always, okay, well, what's the flip side? What's the concern with it? So my concern is you mentioning possibly needing a specific combination of heroes to unlock it in a Gacha hero collector game. It could be frustrating, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so yeah, that Reliquary idea, it might be that you need a specific hero, a hero from a specific faction that's also got a weapon from their faction, as an example. Or it might be, to unlock this Reliquary, you need to have 5 heroes of this faction. Or it might be you need 3 heroes of this faction and 2 heroes from this faction. You will find in the game clues in terms of what do you think you're going to need for this reliquary to open up? But I can assure you, Pippin, it will never be you need Zeus, Hercules, and I don't know, Brunhild, like these 3 specific heroes to unlock it. That's not what we're going for. It's just more of a kind of like community. Damn, I've just unlocked one and this is what I was using. And then you're trying to decipher what it is and share with the community how you're getting into these different rooms where you can earn yourself some juicy fat loot. But yeah, good call out. Would be nice to see, so this is from Kate, would be nice to see African warriors in the game, maybe a Zulu couple, tribal marks and all. It's nice to have Egyptians. That's just one African culture. So I guess just to make you aware, we're going to have 10 different mythologies on launch with the ability, obviously, provided the game is successful, to have more factions down the line. And I'd say out of the 10 factions that we're launching with, we've got really good diverse cultures. We've got the ones that people are more aware of, you know, the Greek gods and stuff, the Egyptians, the Norse. And I've done videos talking about all of those. We're actually just going into now I guess like the Hindu area of our game and starting to explore those heroes.
That's so cool.
And damn, some of them are so sweet. So yeah, rest assured, we do have a really cool diversity of different mythologies coming in.
And that's, yeah, I've seen a lot of people say Africa because a lot of people don't consider Egyptians to be Africa because it's more India type, sorry, not India, Arabic influence, which is true, but has it always been? I don't know. I think the reality is you're still going to find our heroes look very African in a lot of cases for the Aru faction as well. It's not going to be like they look more modern Arabic like it is now. I don't know. But yes, I do think that's just like what I was saying with the Native American cultures in the US. So like you have Native American cultures, you have the South American cultures in North America, like the Mayas, the Incas, the Aztecs, right? Of course we have to have something like all of that, which we do. We definitely have something from the Americas represented in our plan. And obviously we just chose one of the more commonly known African cultures to represent, which is, I mean, Egyptian, Norse, like those are probably the biggest mythologies you could ask for. So of course we have to start there. But we want a little bit of everything. Like you said, the Svarga faction, which has that Hindu influence. That's really cool and very different. And then from, we just have a little bit of variety. We have Asian inspired already. You've seen Kojiki. So we have to try to, within 10 factions, we want to be as diverse as possible to start. And then we can break up, add another Africa, add some more Americas, add some more, Asian, like add a little bit of everything. And you will see that, I think over time, we're just gonna, continue to add more fun factions. The possibilities are endless. So if your favorite area, region, mythology, lore, set is not included yet, just make sure you let us know. The more we hear, I want Native Americans, I want Native Americans, I want Native Americans, the more likely we are to try to make that one probably happen sooner rather than later, I would assume, because we do listen to feedback and are always looking at the comments and ideas.
Oman here from the Discord. I need to know if this game is going to have an infinitely farmable PvE mode. So Oman has also mentioned a number of times, I wish this game wouldn't have energy and stuff like that. It's a tricky one. So where you've got a game where there's like farmable resources, if you have no energy, then we're almost saying if you don't play this game 24/7, then you're going to fall behind everyone else by a lot. And we don't want to put that kind of like feeling on players that you should be playing the game 24/7 to stay keep up with someone else. And that's one of the reasons why energy is introduced into these games. Certainly that's one of the reasons why energy's in there. We will have game modes where you can play things like the normalized modes infinitely if you've got some skill and knowledge in the game. Yeah, so you'll be able to earn the ability to go back in and go again and go again. And there will be a number of different game modes where you can come in and play pretty much infinitely. I don't know if infinitely is the right word, but you could definitely re-go into different content and go again. So it's hard to answer this type of thing without showing you all of the different features we've got lined up. But there definitely will be plenty of playtime without the need to become, like a PvPer.
So on that note, I think a good example of something that could be considered unlimited without energy for people that want to spend hours and hours and hours perfecting content. I would say like Eternal Evolution and Watcher of Realms have both had temporary events where you'll have a boss that you can just attack the boss as many times as you want to get the highest score possible, and then it keeps your highest score. So we have Immortal Codex with Watcher of Realms. We had comes out for like a couple weeks at a time. And same thing, Eternal Evolution. The holiday events always had bosses where for certain days there were bosses active and you could just fight and fight and fight until you can't fight no more. Or Watcher of Realms does it really well, where you have the Titanic Ruins and the guild boss, right? So with Titanic Ruins, you can redo your run as many times as you want without saving your key. Or Dragonair, Vortex, the clan boss. Do that as many times as you want without saving your key. So you could literally spend all day, every day, perfecting your team. Endless amount of time playing, technically, right? Or I guess the difference with Guild Boss in Watcher of Realms, Drake's Chasm, the normal Guild Boss, you can do playtest mode where you can endlessly try your comp and it will save your best result. So if you do better than what your saved key is, even if you've already saved your key, it'll remember it for next time at least and recopy that. So I think there are plenty of ways to do this. It just might be something that's not out in the first set of content, I would imagine, because keep in mind at launch, we're probably just going to have the basics of what you'd expect from different types of dungeons and clan related content, whatever. But over time, more and more things are going to come out because you can't just drop it all at once. You got to have new content coming out over time, or there might be temporary events that give you this type of content too. So just because you don't see exactly that sort of thing instantly, which I would anticipate we might not have. I don't know. I would hope. I have no idea about this, what I'm about to say, but I would like to see a clan boss, guild boss type battle where we don't have to be forced to accept the key if we fail. There was nothing more frustrating in Watcher before the playtest mode came out of accidentally wiping too soon and then your key is stuck, right? I think Raid was the same. So it would be nice if we had that option to choose to save it. Are they doing that? I don't know. I actually don't know. So we'll see. We will see.
I pulled this one in just because it answers a number of people's questions. So Manuel, I don't know how you say this. I'm so terrible at saying names. I hope that this game is in German too. So the release plan is that we will release in English speaking and look to be successful. Obviously, like that's what we're hoping for, is success. And then we will start to localize. Certainly German is one of the languages which will be high priority because we know in Germany a lot of people play these games. But ideally, if we're able to be successful in some of the stuff we've got going on right now around investment and stuff like that, then we could do localization in terms of our launch much sooner into more regions. So, but yeah, English speaking is going to be our initial launch in terms of plans right now. There's something else which I just wanted to talk about, not really answering a question, but there's been a couple of videos that have come out. So basically Wizard D Gaming had something here that was like Godforge on thin ice and and Godforge on thin ice after releasing our pre-alpha. And we heard MTG Jedi did one on like why Godforge will fail. I think something like that. Anyway,
to be fair, guys, I don't like that negative. I mean, on thin ice is fair because everyone has high expectations. I don't know what he's going to say yet. I'm just going to say my piece. Don't say something will fail. How about Godforge will fail if ... Would have made that so much better. I'm extremely against hard clickbait when it's not even what the video is about. I thought it was a little too negative of a title and thumbnail. Personally, I'm really not a fan of that stuff. Really not. You can do clickbait without going too harsh. So there's my honesty, I guess, of that. I did not like, yeah, you can see it here on his screen. Godforge will fail. Will it though? No, Godforge will fail if... Oh, he actually did add it. He added it. Okay, I take that back, MTG. I appreciate you for adding that. It did not say if before. It just said Godforge will fail in the title and the thumbnail. So Godforge will fail if la 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 la, I feel like is much more of a engaging title because you're going to make players and staff like us curious. Okay, what does he think? What is the constructive criticism? But if you just say stuff like it will fail, then you're just going to get people that click your video, dislike it, and don't even watch it because they don't like that you're being extremely negative, even if they don't watch it and know what you're really saying is actually trying to be constructive. So I think this is okay. Props, MTG. You heard I saw your comment section. You heard the comments and you reacted and you actually did change your title. I credit where credit is due. I appreciate that. But yeah, be careful, guys. Like at the end of the day, I've sat here with my husband, Odd One, who can be guilty of clickbait too. I call him out on it directly. He'll get mad when he says something and I'm like, what was your thing? Oh, well, duh. Of course everyone reacted that way. Like I'm the first person to be like, bruh. I'm the bruh meme. Sometimes you gotta be careful, and if you are gonna try to stir the pot with a title or a thumbnail or something, expect negative results. It's just reality. I'm really curious what Simon's gonna say. Let's go.
It's so weird. So firstly, there's a ton of different content creators already doing Godforge content, which is cool to see. Oh, here it is. Godforge will fail. And I've got to say, now being on the other side of the screen as a developer, when you see these kind of things, you're like, oh man, that sucks that, you know, people have got that opinion already because you're so heavily invested in the game and you know, the work that you're putting in. But it's also, it basically feeds back into what we're doing here. So, you know, some of the context of this was like, are the models good enough? You know, are the character models up to scratch with what we see from other games? I mean, personally, I feel like for pre-alpha, we're in a pretty good spot because everything from here is increasing the quality of optimization. So the actual base models are very good. It's like shaders, textures, lighting, all of that type of stuff to just improve the game. But like, you know, we're trying. We're like every single model that goes through 2D concepting, 3D concepting, you know, every single one, we're like, does this hit the cool factor? Yes or no? And art is very subjective to how you feel, right?
Great.
And there's also elements like, as I say, sometimes, which one is it? This one here. Sometimes the
Except
lighting is just not good enough yet.
Her hair's not good
lighting
enough
makes
yet.
such a difference. Sometimes the textures we've got in play, like this here, don't feel quite right. Like it's too waxy type of feel.
But
The
her
good
body
thing
looks
is our 3D
amazing. I
models
love me
are
the
great.
curvy girls.
So then
Let's
it just
go.
comes down to the technical art guys improving what we've got. But there'll also be an element where some people are just like, you know what?
It looks cool.
It's not good
a
enough for me.
Uncommon. It
And,
looks so cool.
It's hard. It's hard to hear, but you know, I get it. We have to design with mobile in mind. So there's some constraints with that, and we also have to design within our budgets. So there's constraints with that.
I don't know if he's gonna say this, but I know there was some talk about the faces, and I remember us talking about that with the meetings. But that's another like thing that's like within the original models for the hero is like making their face animate is a whole nother level. Is that within our budget for every single character? I don't know. Like, it's not to say in a budget, like we have a low budget. We have millions in this project. We're not exactly a low budget indie company at all. We're not trying to market ourselves that way is a big key either. We are trying to, when we hit this, we want to go in with the big boys. We're not trying to pretend to be a low budget, like, oh, we're just a little guy trying to make a game. We're not trying to do that. But at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff is a lot more complicated and expensive than I thought. Like, it's really cool for me as a player of this genre, and someone who has been a streamer and a content creator as well, to now be on the inside and see what really goes into that. You're like, oh, this looks too short. Just make it taller, longer. It's not that simple. You can't, if you do something like that or change something, change a weapon, change whatever, it scratches the entire thing and you're starting at square one sometimes. Sometimes you can't just make a little adjustment, or you can't just make their eyes blink. It's not that simple of like, oh, just click a button and make their eyes blink. It's not that simple. So it's really fascinating for me to be on the inside. And then, yeah, we're going to have to see, how do we troubleshoot these type of things? What if we go through and there's constant feedback about their face needs expression? and then we don't have expression on their faces. What if that really is a big point of feedback in the beta? Or do people just not even notice and it's fun because the characters are cool and who cares? That might be the reality too. But if that's like a massive point, then what do we do? I don't know. So I'm really, it's fascinating and it's interesting to be a part of the journey, to see these discussions, to to know how complicated it all really is. And it's fun though. I'm really enjoying the journey along and being able to see everything come to life. Plus, I don't know everything that's being talked about in the design meetings. I only sit around for a couple. So it's really fun for me when I get to see them troubleshoot something or respond to feedback. And I think they're doing a good job so far. So I have faith that whatever we put out in the end, number one, Simon is gonna not let something go out that doesn't look cool. We know that. And honestly, Fiction Dan, he is a perfectionist. And he has standards. He's not going to let some crappy quality, whatever thing get released. He's not. I know it. Paul, like you guys have said, Saphira, he is going to understand game mechanics. He's going to understand balance. He's going to be someone that really pushes if something seems broken or not right. Like, I feel like we have a good crew of people to make sure that we're not just going to put out something subpar. But some things are going to look subpar right now because, as it says on the screen, pre-alpha demo. So I'm excited for the journey to see how this all comes together, though. I really am. And I'm really honored to be part of this team. But let's let Simon wrap this up.
You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we're working with, but I don't know, guys. We're trying hard, and I'd say over time as well, as we're sort of finding our feet with the art crew, that's improving as well. So this is the
That's true. It's also communicating with the art design studio of Magic Media. You might have a vision and you might say it to them and they might completely not misinterpret, but have a different interpretation of it, you know? Or they might do something that we didn't even think of that is even better. I've heard them talk about like them giving, like we say something and they're like, yeah, that's not going to work. Like that's in our heads, or as a player or as a content creator, as a whatever, we think something can just happen, but they're like, yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. Like they're the experts that's going to help us make the dreams a reality, but also be a reality check.
Earliest models that we've done. Since here, we've already got 50 done, by the way, 50 character models. So we're seeing 15, but we've actually got more like 50 complete. And I already know that there's some which I prefer to what we've already done. So all I can say is we listen to the feedback, we're trying, and you know, going back to what I said right at the start of the video, we just want to create a really great game. And we will try our hardest to do it. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy what you see. Hopefully some of those answers give you some more context in terms of what we're working on. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and come and join us for the beta and in the Discord channel. And I'll leave all of that stuff down below. That's going to be it for today. I'm Simon from Fateless, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right, guys, for those of you that watched the whole thing, thanks for sticking around, listening to my opinion on all this. And yeah, join us in the Discord if you're not already. We just made a new Reddit. We have all sorts of stuff going on, and I hope you guys will follow us for the ride. And I will also continue my Gamescom videos if I ever finish editing them. I swear to God I will. I will. And yeah, I'll see you in that next video.